This video is about rotations. Rotations are basically taking a location, in this case we're going to talk about a point, taking a point and turning it around the coordinate plane. Okay? Now, most textbooks are going to show something along these lines where they're going to give you all these different rules to learn and stuff like that. I'm going to try to synthesize it for you. So one way that we can turn an object, all right, is if they ask you to rotate 180 degrees. Now, they're going to talk about clockwise and counterclockwise. If they ask you to rotate 180, it doesn't matter whether you rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. All right? What I want you to learn for rotate 180 is keep and then opposite, opposite, or negative, negative. Opposite, opposite is the way. So it's keep, opposite, opposite. So let me show you how that works. If you take a look right to the left here at the point G, that's a 2, 3, and they want me to rotate it 180 degrees. That means that it's going to turn all the way down to the bottom here. If I look at the numbers, the 2 and the 3 don't change position. That's what keep means. The 2 and the 3 don't change position. That's what keep means. And then the digits 2 and 3 become opposites. -2, -3. All right? So if I had a point, for example, over here, and this point was at -4, 3, and I wanted you to rotate 180, okay, that means that -4, 3 is going to become keep and then opposite, opposite. So the -4 becomes 4, the +3 becomes -3, and that's the new location for -3 that would be the rotating 180. All right, the second kind of rotation that we have is I want you to think rotate 90. Now, they're going to ask you to rotate 90 clockwise or counterclockwise. Make sure that you know the difference between clockwise, following the path of a clock, or counterclockwise, kind of going backwards. Now, in this particular example, if you look all the way over to the first one, if I move this G here from 90 degrees counterclockwise, it's going to come over here and become G prime. If I were to move it 90 degrees clockwise, it would go from this position down to the bottom here, which they describe as rotating 270 degrees. All right? We're going to be asked to rotate 90 clockwise or 90 counterclockwise. So here's what I want you to remember for this one is switch. Specifically, switch what? Switch X and Y. Okay? Now, the second thing is if it's counterclockwise, then it becomes negative, positive, or opposite, positive, opposite, same. If it's clockwise, then it becomes positive, opposite, or plus opposite. Okay, so I'm going to show you how these rules work, but this is an easier way. What I just outlined right here, in my opinion, is an easier way than memorizing all these different rules. Okay, now remember again, they're going to ask us to do the rotations clockwise or counterclockwise. If they don't say, the assumption is that they rotated counterclockwise. Okay, so let's take a look here at this first example. They want me to rotate 180. First thing I want to do is I want to identify those points again. So H here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. H is at -5, 5. I know that I is at -4, 2. And I know that G is at -2, 4. Now, when they say rotate 180, I want to think back to my little chart here. Rotate 180 means keep, and then opposite, opposite. All right, so let's see what happens now. H becomes H prime. I'm going to keep the order of the numbers, but then just write the opposite of the numbers inside. Keep, opposite, opposite. For I prime, keep, opposite, opposite. For G prime, keep, opposite, opposite. The more you practice these, the easier they become. The hard part of this is remembering the rules. Okay, so let's try this one. Rotate 90 counterclockwise about the origin. So we're just thinking rotate 90 counterclockwise. So we're trying to take this object and move it counterclockwise, which would move it kind of in that direction. All right, first thing, K, where are you at? K is at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at -3, -4. L, you're right on the axis, so that would be 0, -1. And M is at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. Okay, let's go back up and look what we wrote down here. For rotating 90, it's a switch. So that's the first thing I need to remember, is what I'm going to do is for each one of those, I'm going to switch the order of the numbers. So I'm thinking switch, swith, not swith, switch. And then I got to figure out, is it opposite same or is it same opposite? Well, again, what do they say here? We're going counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is opposite same, opposite same. So I'm going to write opposite same. And if I do this, watch how easy these problems become now. I know that K becomes K prime. I have to switch and opposite the first. So it's going to be switch, move the 4 and the 3, and then opposite, that's 4, keep, -3. L prime, switch. So I'm at -1, 0, but then I have to go opposite, keep, 1, 0. M prime, switch, -4, -1, sorry, -4, 1, and then switch, and then opposite, keep. So that becomes 4, 1. All right, it's kind of harder to put it into words, I'm kind of realizing here. All right, so let's try F. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I know E is at 4, 1, and I know G is at 5, 3. Now we're going to rotate this 90 degrees clockwise, so that means it's kind of coming down in this direction. It's coming down to here. Okay? Well, because I'm rotating 90, I know it's switch. But then, is it keep opposite or opposite keep? Well, let's look. We're going clockwise. Clockwise says keep opposite. Keep opposite. All right, so let me write down keep opposite. Okay, let's go. F prime. Switch first. All right, so it becomes 3, 4. I'm going to keep the 3, but make the 4 the opposite. E prime. Switch. I'm at 1, 4. I'm going to keep the 1 opposite the 4. G prime. Switch. 3, 5. Keep the 3 opposite the 5. Okay? All right? I threw a couple more in here. What if they don't give us a picture? Well, that actually, for us, knowing our rules should make it easier. Okay? So when they rotate 90 counterclockwise, let's remember what we're going to do. 90 tells me to switch. Counterclockwise, again, what does it mean? Let me go all the way up here. Counter. opposite, keep, opposite, keep. Okay. All right, let's write these out. You got U is at 0, -3. V is at 0, 2. W is at 3, 1. I know switch, so it becomes U prime is -3, 0, but then I have to take the opposite of -3. So it'd be 3, 0. All right, V prime. Switch, 2, 0, but I need to write it as opposite of 2, 0. W prime. Switch, 1, 3, opposite of 1, keep the 3. All right, we haven't done this one since the beginning, so let's go back up and make sure we know our rule here. For rotate 180, it's keep the order, and then opposite, opposite. Okay, so keep the order. Let's write these down, or let's write down. Keep opposite, opposite. Okay. F is at -5, -3. G is at -4, -2. H is at -3, -4. F prime. Keep the order, but make them opposites. Opposite -5 is 5. Opposite -3 is 3. So I'm at the point 5, 3. Keep opposite, opposite. That makes G prime at 4, 2. Keep opposite, opposite. That makes H prime at 3, 4. Now, I would encourage you, go back over these. Okay, go back over. Listen to how we're describing them. I know I wasn't perfect, guys. I kind of messed up on my wording a little bit here. But it's a simple pattern to follow when you're doing these. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.